Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, what we do is we will see the big picture of this the Mern Stack. What is Mern Stack and where it come from? So we will say the big picture, right? Oh, it's not writing. A big picture. So this will actually see what is Mern Stack and why we do it. Basically, this is all practical, subject. You have to get the laptop and you will work with me. So every day we will do the coding and you will actually do with me. So we will set up the environment, we will do everything. This will be the hands-on training where we teach. I will do here the coding and you will do simultaneously on your laptops. So that way it will be very interactive and it will you know get that concept in your brains. So in a big picture, we say why we have this Mern stack. What is this Mern stack all about, and why? What was the conventionally we were doing, and what happened with the Mern stack, right? Now, firstly, we should understand what is the difference between web design and web development. These are two different things. Maximum times people get confused with web design and web development. Now, this web design, yeah, and web development is totally different. So design phase, when we say design, okay, and we say development. In design phase, we do not create any code and all. This is when we have any engineering phenomena. In engineering, for example, we have to create a bridge. If we have to create a bridge, we first need to understand the science of pavement. It's not about just we put up those concretes and all. We need to understand the physics of it so that it will be how much load will it bear. Will it bear the load or not? So it's all pavement details will be first done by some architect. Okay, the or you may have to build a house. You want to build a house, so you are not just going there and start creating the house because if I am a real estate have business, I have real estate business, and customer will come for me to create house. If I start creating the house, and later the customer will tell me that I don't like at all this thing, so the huge investment I have done will go to waste. Now, rather than that, what we do, or in any engineering phenomena, is we go to the design phase. In design, we go to the architect. He will create the blueprint on the piece of paper, right? It's only just a design. Then, when I show this to the customer, I make him understand it's this way, or I may create a model also of the house, a toy house kind of a thing, and show him all the details. Or maybe I go in a computer, I go to the CAD and all, use CAD and all. I will show him what the house will look like, but I have not built the house yet. Now later on he may say, no, 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 I want this thing, I want this color, I want that thing, and ultimately I will tweak it, I will update it, and I will then create a design which is perfect. And this design will go to the actual people who actually built it. Then it will start building. So first of all, there will be a design. Okay. So first of all, you have to design before you starting development. Same is with the our softwares, or we say web design and development. So in design phase, we do not actually create anything. We are using the softwares which are like Photoshop, like Figma. We use Adobe XD. We use Sketch. Okay, where we actually create the layouts, color schemes, branding elements, everything is created. Say, for example, we create the website, which is having all those buttons and everything there, but it's not the actual coding. It's kind of a pictures. It's done in Figma, it's done in Adobe XD, it's done in Sketch, it's done in maybe Photoshop. So we have here the designing softwares which will do it for us. So that's called as a web design. Okay. Now after we have finished with the design, we go to the customer, the site will look like this because he may change 100 times. So we cannot create a big software and then start changing it. It will incur huge cost, and that will not be the software engineering paradigms we have. Okay, like we have software engineering paradigms, like we have the waterfall model, we have the prototyping model, you must have read about them. We first do the analysis phase and then the design phase, where we actually create some kind of a mm, prototype of our website, and we show it to the customer says that this is not to be done, and he will do 10, 20 changes, or maybe sometimes many more changes. And after that, when this design is complete, we then give it to the web developers. The web developers are the coding guys. These are the coding guys. The web designers are, you know, like they use the design softwares, like Illustrator maybe, like Photoshop, or like Adobe XD, Figma, Sketch, and many more. But in a coding guys, when we have the coding, then uh, it's called as web development. Now, web design is only to create a prototype uh, of the website which we want to build, and web development is the actual development where we do the coding. Okay. Now this web development then happens in a three layers. That's what's called a stack. That's what's called a stack. We have three layers here. First is, it's called the, we have now the web development. Now in web development we have basically three layers. One is called front end development. Then we have the server side scripting. We sometimes call it backend. We call it back end development. And we have the database. We have the database. Okay, we have three things here. So they are actually on a stack like this. That's why it's called stack. We have the database here, we have the back end, and we have the front end. And there are a lot of technologies which we use in front end, we use in back end, we use in database. So if you have all the expertise about the front end, back end, and database, and all the stack we have here, you may be only front end developer. Even you may be only, web designer, which is maybe UX and UI design. Even there's a lot of jobs in UI and UX design. One of my student, he had done a BTech, and then he learned UI and UX design, and he is doing a job in American company this time. And they even didn't ask him that he has done BTech or whatever. They asked him only UX UI design questions, and he passed that, and he landed into the job. So in the web design there is also jobs. So you have to be, but you have to understand the things inside out. Then jobs are there. So front end development, you can be only front end developer, you can be only back end developer, you can be only database, administrator and all. Or if you have the, you are using the all the stack, we call you are the full stack developer. You are the full stack developer. Now if you are a full stack developer, you can apply for all the jobs, so your job market will increase. Your domain will increase, because you are expert in front end, you're also expert in back end, you're expert in database. But when you go to the company, you will be working in a one domain only. But only thing is that you can apply for the multiple jobs. But if you are, for example, UI UX designer, you can apply only for that job, not for the others. So learning full stack will open up all the Pandora box, and you can land into any job later on. But you have to understand each and everything in depth. That is important. Now, this front end development, back end, and database, what are the technologies we use it, and where the Mern stands? That is, we need to understand, right? Okay. Now, is it clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Anybody having confusion, just ask me. There's no need to rush into things. We need to clear each and everything. It should be very, very clear, right? Okay. Now, firstly, for example, let us give an example of, if I have, for example, I have I'm saying why we have actually the Mern stack. Okay, we actually when we use the Mern stack, there are a lot of technologies here, uh, but this will be very easy if we understand the properly what's happening on the back. Maybe I will give the first some example here. Maybe I will add up some page. Maybe that's a blank page. Okay. Okay. Say for example, we are saying that. One second, let me get the pen. I was not getting the pen. Okay. Say for example, you have a shop, okay, and you have a shoe shop. Usually, I teach it like this, and you want to put it on the. Everybody is going on the internet, and you want to put it on the some kind of website, and where you want to show the shoes on your shop. You have the address of your shop, you have the telephone number there, so that people can contact you and they can get the address, they can get the maybe using the Google map and all location services and all. You can put up their things on the website, but this site is static. But the site is what? It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. It's not, you don't click anything and go anywhere. You can't shop online on this site. So this is called a static site. So it's not dynamic, it is a static site. One second. Somebody is popped up. Okay. Now somebody has come up very late. Anyways, don't worry. So let's come back to it. Okay, some other guys, Ariba. Okay, Ariba and this girl. Is my voice clear for you guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Actually, we have already 15 minutes into the class. We have discussed a lot of things, and now you can join, no problem. We have the recording also of it, so you can go for it and understand the things. So what we so far said, because this is the first class, let me get clear up things. So we said we have the web design versus web development. We are getting the big picture of the Mern stack today. We are saying that we got a web design versus web development. While in the design, we have, I'll tell you very shortly now, that we have the design softwares like Figma, Adobe XD, Sketch, or we may have Illustrator or Photoshop, where what we do is we create the design of the website and then we give to the customer. They may change 100 times. We can do it in the design only. Then once the design is created, we give it to the developers. And in the developer side, we say that we have the stack. Once again, we have a stack of where we have to work. So we have three things on a stack. One is called front end, one is called back end, and one is called as the database. And I was discussing about UI UX design and all. Then if you are knowing all the technologies on front end, back end, and database, then you're called a full stack developer. And if you're a full stack developer, you can land into any job in front end or in back end and database. But in the company, you will be working only in a one domain, not in everything, right? That's the one thing we said. Now we try to understand, if we are saying the Mern stack and there are a lot of technologies, what are these technologies? We should be getting today clearly what is this. And I told you this is the practical, all practical. So you have to get your laptops with you, and I will tell you how to install the environment of for all these things. Then we will do hands-on. I will do things, you will also do things. Now what I said is, I was saying it that we have, let me get a small pen. We have, for example, a shop, a shoe shop, for example, and I say, I want to do what? I want to show people my shoes. I will give them the address there, the telephone number, the location, and many more things, and all the pictures of this. But you are not doing any kind of online shopping like e-carts, and we don't have the e-commerce website kind of thing. It's just a static site. We call it as a static site. Now when the static site we are only showing people what we have, what we got, right? So what technologies we gonna use, and where will then the Mern stand? Okay, we have the MERN. What are these technologies, and what we will come to it first. If I want to create this static site which is doing nothing, I'm not clicking anything, and it's not, I can't register there, I can't buy it on it, it's a very static site, simple site. So first of all, we will need is the HTML, hypertext markup language, and this is not actually the language, in a proper sense. It's not a programming language. It's a markup language. Markup language means it doesn't have any logic in it. We can't create a logic in it. For example, I have a password and I want to see if the password is correct or it is wrong or right. I can't do that in HTML because it's not a programming language. It's a markup language where we say, for example, create a button, it will create a button for us. Create a form, create a text box, it will create a text box for us. But it's not kind of a thing that it will do that programming logic. We can't do anything in it. And what HTML will do is it will create a structure. It will create a structure, like it will create a skeleton. If I say in a human being, the skeleton, it will create like a skeleton. So it's gonna be very ugly. Okay, it's gonna be very very ugly because it will not have no colors, nothing else. It will just create plain, without any formatting, without any settings. It will create us the structure, the basic structure. For example, if we have a house, it will create the bricks, ugly bricks. And if you see the new house which it doesn't have a POPs and color and paints or paneling and etc etc, you just simply have the bricks and it will create for us. It's going to be very ugly. So that is what HTML does for us. Now definitely we would like that this website should have a lot of color in it. It should be eye catching. Customers should, like for example, if you go to the shop, to a lot of lightings and all. Why do we do lightings and all? So that it attract the customers. So we want our site having a lot of light and a lot of colors and all. That thing, the beauty thing, comes by the CSS, cascading style sheet. Now CSS, we will be reading HTML5 and CSS3, for example, here, which is having a lot of semantic tags in HTML. We will learn them inside out from the beginning. And then we have the CSS3, which is doing what? Which is putting up that beauty to this ugly HTML structure. So we add the beauty. We make it a little beautiful. Got it? But later on, when we if this is a just simple site, it's okay. But if we are going for a big site and it's a big company doing a lot of things, developers want something off shelf. We want something off shelf because putting up a lot of CSS and doing things of our own will take lots and lots of time. So there comes a framework. A framework helps us to do things very fast because they're ready-made things. We have ready-made things, and we have CSS pre-written by somebody. For example, I have wrote all the CSS for creating drop-down menu, for creating, say for example, headers, for creating the carousels, and for creating all the beautiful things. And only thing I will tell you that call this particular functionality, and this will be applied to your project. Right? Isn't that beautiful? So this way you don't have to write all that bulky CSS of your own. So that is the framework. And we have a lot of frameworks, but we will, in our course, we'll read about the Bootstrap. Now this Bootstrap is the CSS framework. Okay, so until now we are having a static site which is having nothing, but it is, we are showing the people that this is my site and this is having shoes and all, but I created beautifully by the CSS and Bootstrap. Basically I use the Bootstrap. So what is Bootstrap? It's a, yes, come on, it's a
framework for C.
CSS3. So you don't have to write all the CSS3 of your own. Rather, you will call, there are classes, and we will see later on how we do that. So it will help us uh, create a beautiful website. But now I am saying that this website should have multiple pages, and I click some button, it should go to somewhere, and all that. Show me that page. I click on the. I have this menus here, which will I will click on those menus, and it will show me that area of the. For example, it will show the casual shoes. It will show me the formal shoes, and should click. So that means this site also needs now the behavior, or what's called as the functionality. So I want to make this site as functional. Now, if you want to make this site as functional, then you got to add to the HTML and CSS3 a new technology which is called as JavaScript. It's called as what? JavaScript. So that means now I had a site which was creating the structure using HTML and make it beautiful using CSS. In fact, I use the Bootstrap, or I may use the Material UI, and later so on. But now to create the functionality in this, I use the JavaScript. Now JavaScript is a full-blown programming language. It's a full-blown programming language, and it's having everything under the hood. Whatever there is in the modern programming language, the JavaScript has everything. That is why I always recommend that BCA should have the first language as Python and JavaScript. But unfortunately, they go for C and C++, which has no job market and which is nothing at all, which is obsolete. That's unfortunate thing for our BCA students. They read these languages, not the Python and JavaScript as their first language. Because the Python and JavaScript are the modern languages, and these are actually the cornerstones for this is JavaScript is for everything. You go for mobile development, you go for website development, anything you go, and in a Python you go for AI world and all. These two languages are very important. So that is why every programming language, every programmer, every computer science student should learn Python and JavaScript as their first languages, because JavaScript is everything. Now, what will JavaScript do? It will get the behavior in this. Now, in a click, you click a button, on the click something is happen. For example, you have a website and you put up the password. Now the password, when you put up in the website, JavaScript can check whether the password is right or wrong. JavaScript can check whether, because it has a full logic, it's a programming language. HTML was not a programming language, it was just a markup language. So in JavaScript, you can check whether the password we should have first the special character. For example, the first letter should be capital maybe, and so on, and there should be some alphabets on the back. This can be checked only if you have to set password, for example, on your login page. Can be done with the JavaScript. Got it? Is that clear until now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Everybody? Okay. Now we want that this front end, well, now this is the front end which is being created. This front end is created. Now we want, as a programmer, some, again, like the CSS, we got the off shelf something where we can use quickly and create the structures. But we want, as a developer, on a front end side, some kind of a framework which will help me to build the beautiful front end with a less amount of time. And then comes the framework called React, which is the JavaScript framework. It is the JS framework. This is what we learn. We learn the HTML inside out. We learn the CSS3. Then we go to the Bootstrap. We learn the Bootstrap. And then we learn the JavaScript as a language, which is full-blown language. We learn it properly inside out. Because to become a web developer, whatever field you have, even you choose Python or you choose something, JavaScript you have to learn if you go to the development side. JavaScript is everywhere. It's a basic language, and it is a modern language, and you have to learn it. So once we learn the JavaScript properly, we will go down to the React. So that means our track will be firstly the HTML5 inside out, not just simple but with projects, then CSS3, then we go to the JavaScript as a full blown language, we learn it, then we go to the React. When we learn the React, which is actually the JavaScript framework, where we can do the same things we do manually using HTML, CSS3, Bootstrap, and JavaScript. Now in the React, we can do in a jiffy. We can do it very quickly because we have the ready-made stuff which will react. By learning the React, we can create a front end in a much speedier way and much better way, and which is consistent. For example, if you can do a lot of errors while you do everything of your own, but you have the React frameworks, the errors are minimized, efficiency will increase, and your websites will be beautiful as it could be. So that is why React is the way to go. Now, what we have done so far is just a front end. Now, what if my people have started calling me because they saw my site and they saw the my shoes on the website, and they wanna buy from me. They want to buy from me. Say, for example, they want to buy. They're calling me. They are telling me, bro, give us the online, sell us the online these shoes. I can't go to the shop. Just sell it from there, and so on. Now the demand increases. So now what I have to do? I have to not have the website which is showing something, but now I have to sell online. When I have to sell online, like Amazon, for example, now I need the customer details, right? I need the customer details, because I need to know who is selling it, who is not. So I would like to register them on my site. So they have to register. I have to remember who they are. I have to check their email and telephone number, verify them. Are they these guys or not? When we are done with that, then I need my shoes, whatever the shoes I have, I need to store them somewhere, okay? And I have to store their price, their pictures, and everything is to be done. So that storage is to be done also. Then I have to see the transaction details. Uh, was it COD, or was it he has paid or not? I have to put up the payment history and everything. So therefore, I firstly need a database which will store me the things. So I need a database now. Now, for example, you have, this is also called the front end. I told you, which what users see. For example, you open up the Amazon site. आपको समझ आ रही है मेरी अच्छे से मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
जी सर।
Everybody getting, और आपको नींद तो नहीं आ गई?
Yes sir, बहुत अच्छे से आ रहा है, ठीक.
Okay, so it's also called client side scripting. Client side scripting on the front end. So in a client side scripting, for example, now I open up the Myntra or Amazon or anything, any shopping cart, and I open it up, and I am choosing a shoe of size, say for example 7. I put up the filters that I want shoe of size 7, and companies should be, the brand I am saying should be the Adidas and Puma or Nike, and color should be blue, and maybe discount should be around 60%, for example. I put up all these things. Now our program should be such, if I have this option, Amazon has this option, then programmers have created a program there. They have written a code which is putting up all these filters, on my whatever things are in my database. But in database, there are around, say for example, 5 lakh shoes in my database. Among these 5 lakh shoes, only 30 shoes are satisfying these conditions. So only 30 shoes should come to the front end, and then they will come here in the front end, and on my screen they will pop up. But who will do this job? Who will do this filtering and all? It's a programming, it's a logic. We have to chuck it. So that means in between there has to be someone who is doing that logic. And it's not just me who is on Amazon, the whole world is on Amazon. So that means there's gonna be a tremendous traffic on this middle guy. There's gonna be a tremendous traffic. So that means this middle guy cannot be a just simple laptop. This cannot be a just simple computer, this has to be a very powerful computer which doesn't bog down. You can imagine how many people are on Amazon and chucking things and all, or on Mintra. It never gets bogged down because there are huge data centers. Okay, we see data centers. These are data center computers, which are huge servers. There are cluster of computers and parallel computers who are here, which are acting as what are called as servers. Okay, that is why everybody is on Amazon. It's not failing. Or Facebook, you see just Facebook, or you see somebody else, any big site where people are on it. If you only check the Amazon, you consider Amazon, how many people are on Amazon every day, they are using it. There are huge data center computers which are just arrays and arrays of computers. These are racks of computers. I will show you the pictures maybe tomorrow. These are racks of computers. There is no display and all. There is no need of display and all. Display comes here where there is a front end. In a back end, there is no display. There are powerful computers working together in clusters. And this is not just one computer working. There are thousands of computers all together. जो servers होते हैं Google के वगैरह, वो 10-10, 20-20 कनाल के ऊपर वो servers के computers होते हैं. और data centers में उन्होंने तकरीबन 40 कनाल पे उनके वो data centers होते हैं. They are huge computer. That is why they don't bog down. Even पूरी दुनिया के लोग भी Amazon के ऊपर है, तब भी वो perfectly काम करते हैं. Now, these servers do what? For example, as a one individual, I said all these things. This logic will be done here. This जो ये काम हो रहा है, ये जो मैं कह रहा था कि भाई शू 7 साइज का होना चाहिए, उसका जनाब उसका जो ब्रांड है वो होना चाहिए आपका एडिडास, प्यूमा, नाइकी, या ये फलानी चीज़ें, मैं और भी फिल्टर्स लगा सकता हूँ. वो सारा लॉजिक चक यहाँ पे होगा और ये बात करेगा किसके साथ? डेटाबेस के साथ. डेटाबेस यहाँ पे लाएगा और फिर ये यहाँ से फ्रंट एंड को देगा और आपके अमेज़ॉन मोबाइल फ़ोन पे वो चीज़ आ जाएगी. बात समझ आई? नाउ हमने अभी तक फ्रंट एंड की टेक्नोलॉजीज देखी. क्या क्या देखा हमने? वी सेड द HTML एज अ स्ट्रक्चर, CSS एज अ which is making that beautiful. Then we have a framework of Bootstrap, and we said we need a programming language of JavaScript, which is using which we use here to do any logic, like पासवर्ड चेक करना है या बहुत सारे काम करना है. जो भी प्रोग्रामिंग लॉजिक होगा जिसमें लॉजिक की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी, वो सारा काम जावास्क्रिप्ट करेगा यहाँ पे. अब सर्वर साइड भी, तो पहले सर्वर साइड में आपको सर्वर के ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम चाहिए. यू नीड ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इफ यू टॉक अबाउट सर्वर नाउ, राइट? लेट मी क्लियर द क्लटर नाउ. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेट मी क्लियर दिस. इसमें क्लियर ऑल था कहीं पे, बटन नहीं आने, सारा क्लियर होता है एक साथ. कनवा में ये शायद ऑप्शन नहीं है. एनीवेज, so we said we have a front end. Now we are done with the front end. If we understood that we have done the React, so we are done with the front end. Now in the back end, we call this as a back end. Okay, and then there is a database is different than back end. Okay, database is different. That's why it's a 3 layers of the stack. On the bottom we have database, then we have the back end, and on the top we have the front end. In a backend, firstly, we need an operating system, which is the server operating system. Like, for example, you have the Apache. Maximum times we use it the PHP and all. We have the Apache servers, which is a server software. You can have any server software like Windows servers or Linux servers or any servers, whatever you like. That's the operating system. That's not our job. As a programmer, I need to use, because जो मुझे वो फिल्टर करना था ना, वो चीज़ें जो मैं फिल्ट्रेशन की बात कर रहा था, या जो भी लॉजिक मुझे करना है यहाँ पे, वो सारा लॉजिक किसी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में होगा जो कि बैकएंड में लगेगी. इट कुड बी यूर जावा, इट कुड बी यूर पाइथन, इट कुड बी यूर रूबी, इट कुड बी एनी लैंग्वेज विच इज़ मॉडर्न लैंग्वेज विच इज़ यूज्ड ऑन अ बैकएंड. लेकिन जो जावास्क्रिप्ट हमें यहाँ पे इस्तेमाल होती थी, जो हमने कहा कि जावास्क्रिप्ट मॉडर्न प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज है, उसमें हर एक चीज़ है. फिर लोगों ने सोचा, भाई अगर मैं जावास्क्रिप्ट यहाँ इस्तेमाल कर रहा हूँ तो क्यों ना मैं जावास्क्रिप्ट इधर भी कर लूँ. Why don't I use the JavaScript in the server side also? But the problem was that JavaScript is rendered by the browser only. ब्राउज़र के अंदर रेंडरिंग इंजन्स होते हैं. क्या होते हैं? Say with me.
rendering.
रेंडरिंग इंजन्स। अब जो रेंडरिंग इंजन्स होते हैं, जैसे आपका सी का कंपाइलर होता है ना, जो उसको कंपाइल करता है, इसी तरीके से जावास्क्रिप्ट को जो काइंड ऑफ कंपाइलेशन जैसे होती है, वैसे ही हमारे पास यहाँ पे रेंडरिंग इंजन्स होते हैं। वो ब्राउज़र के पास होते हैं। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आपका क्रोम है, क्रोम में V8 आपका है जो रेंडरिंग इंजन है। अब वो वाला यहाँ तो ब्राउज़र का किस्सा ही नहीं है, सर्वर साइड में तो ब्राउज़र कोई चीज़ चलती ही नहीं है ना, वहाँ ब्राउज़र तो है ही नहीं तो वहाँ तो जावास्क्रिप्ट चलेगा ही नहीं। तो हमने कहा क्यों ना हम एनवायरनमेंट बनाए जावास्क्रिप्ट के, जो जिसको रन करने के लिए उसका एनवायरनमेंट बनाए। तो हमने क्या किया, हमने ये V8 को पकड़ा और C++ में हमने एक एनवायरनमेंट बना दिया ना, कंपाइलर काइंड ऑफ थिंग, जो कि जावास्क्रिप्ट को रेंडर करे कहाँ पे, सर्वर पे। सो यानी कि अब मुझे इन लैंग्वेजेस में कोई काम करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी मैं जावास्क्रिप्ट पढ़ चुका हूँ यहाँ पे। वाई नॉट टू यूज़ द सेम जावास्क्रिप्ट इन द सर्वर साइड स्क्रिप्टिंग ऑल्सो, और बैक एंड स्क्रिप्टिंग, वी कॉल इट बैक एंड स्क्रिप्टिंग। जो ये वाला था इसे कहते थे फ्रंट एंड स्क्रिप्टिंग, जो यहाँ पर हम कर रहे थे, इट्स कॉल्ड बैक एंड स्क्रिप्टिंग, जो कि मैं जावा, पाइथन या बाकी चीज़ों में करता हूँ, अक्सर करते थे हम। हमने कहा कि क्यों ना हम वो भी जावास्क्रिप्ट में करें। तो इस चीज़ को, जो कि V8 में, जो C++ में हमने एनवायरनमेंट बनाया जावास्क्रिप्ट का, इट इज़ कॉल्ड एज Node.js। इट्स कॉल्ड एज व्हाट?
Node.js.
इट्स कॉल्ड एज Node.js। कि Node.js जो है वो यहाँ पे काम करेगा, कहाँ पे, सर्वर साइड स्क्रिप्टिंग करने के लिए। बात समझ आई? हाँ जी।
जी sir.
यस सर, यस।
फिर से हम डेवलपर वाले बंदे आ गए, यार हमें रेडीमेड चीज़ चाहिए, हमें जल्दी काम करना है, हमें बहुत सारी चीज़ चाहिए, तो हमें फ्रेमवर्क दे दो। सो वी वांट फ्रेमवर्क फॉर Node.js नाउ। तो उसमें जो फ्रेमवर्क हमारे पास आ गई, दैट्स कॉल्ड एक्सप्रेस। दैट्स कॉल्ड व्हाट?
Express.
दैट्स कॉल्ड एक्सप्रेस। तो यानी कि अगर हम कुल मिला के अभी बात करेंगे यहाँ पे फिर से, एवरीबडी गेटिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? किसी को तो कन्फ्यूजन तो नहीं है?
नो सर, आई डोंट हैव।
Okay. Now see what I'm saying. We said on a front end we have the HTML, then we have the CSS, and we have the Bootstrap as a framework. Okay. And we have the
Yes
JavaScript.
sir.
Now for the JavaScript framework we have what?
React.
React. Understood? So we are understanding the technologies today. This is the front end. Now in the back end we said we can use the we could use other languages also, Python, PHP, Java and all. ना PHP हम इस्तेमाल करते थे in the back end and all. अब मुझे करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि JavaScript मैं ऑलरेडी यहाँ पे कर रहा हूँ, तो why not to use the JavaScript here also. So we have the JavaScript on the Node.js, क्योंकि मैंने क्या काम किया बैक एंड में, मैंने V8 जो रेंडरिंग इंजन था क्रोम का, ये जो रेंडरिंग इंजन होता है अपने अपने ब्राउज़र का डिफरेंट होता है। फॉर एग्जांपल आपको स्पाइडर मंकी है फायरफॉक्स में, स्पाइडर मंकी इज़ द रेंडरिंग इंजन जो जावास्क्रिप्ट को रेंडर करेगा इन फायरफॉक्स। अगर आप फायरफॉक्स की बात करोगे, वहाँ पे मेरे पास है स्पाइडर मंकी। लेकिन मैंने कहा था क्रोम की, क्रोम में कौन है? V8। अब इसी V8 को मैंने C++ में एनवायरनमेंट बना के, क्योंकि ये स्टैंड अलोन करके, यानी कि ब्राउज़र के बाहर जो रन हो, वहाँ पे मैंने इसको JS को रेंडर किया, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड एज Node.js। तो उसकी फ्रेमवर्क अब मैं कौन सी लगा रहा हूँ? एक्सप्रेस। वेरी गुड।
Express.
अब जो ये बैकएंड है, ये इसको बात करनी है डेटाबेस के साथ। किसके साथ?
Database.
The language we used till we have the MongoDB is the SQL. SQL is the language to talk, server talks with the database. ठीक है, ये आपस में जो बात करेंगे, ये इस SQL की लैंग्वेज इस्तेमाल करते हैं, स्ट्रक्चर्ड क्वेरी लैंग्वेज, टू टॉक विद द डेटाबेस। अब डेटाबेस खुद पहले बनाना है। जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपको MySQL है, आपका किसका डेटाबेस है? डेटाबेस खुद होते हैं जो कि क्रिएट करते हैं हमें डेटाबेस, वो अलग सॉफ्टवेयर्स होते हैं। लाइक MySQL है हमारे पास Oracle है, हमारे पास Sybase है, हमारे पास MS Access होता था। अगर आपके जो ऑफिस आपने लोड किया होगा MS ऑफिस, उसमें MS Access होता था, and all that. We have tons of databases, or we use here what is called as MongoDB. लेकिन MongoDB एक चीज़ है, that is no SQL. It doesn't use SQL. It again uses the JavaScript. The Mongo, because we want JavaScript everywhere now. That's why Mern Stack is the JavaScript framework. MongoDB again uses JavaScript, not SQL. So it is no SQL. MongoDB is no SQL. It uses the JSON. That's a JavaScript object, which it uses that thing, which we'll see later on when we do the database side. It again uses the JavaScript. Getting the point? Hanji?
Yes, sir.
So now if you see the Mern here, which is MongoDB, M for MongoDB. What is MongoDB?
MongoDB.
It is a database solution which goes a database. What is the E? E for Express.
Express.
Where is the Express used? It's the Node.js framework. In the server-side scripting, we do it. And we have the R for React. React is the browser-side JavaScript library or framework for the JavaScript to develop the front end. This is used to develop the front end. And Node.js is the server-side JavaScript runtime environment, which will help us to create, I told you that, once again, I told you that we created node in where? We created node in the V8 using the V8 engine and C++ to create the Node.js so that we can render our JavaScript. So it's a JavaScript runtime environment, which helps us to run the JavaScript where? On the server side. ठीक है ना? So the browser side we have the React, which is again the JavaScript library. In the server side we have the Express. Okay? And in the database side we have the MongoDB. Acha ji. So what is React? Again we come up to this. You understand what is React? Because I told you, if you forgot, I told you we have the front end and we have the back end and we have the database, right? And when we talk about the front end, we said we have the HTML, then we use the CSS, we use the Bootstrap, we use the JavaScript, and we use the JavaScript library. What is the React? Right?
React.
It's the front end. So it's a client side, the browser side, the front end side, library, जिसमें आप यूजर इंटरफेस बना सकते हो. इट्स अ कंपोनेंट डेवलपमेंट, कंपोनेंट बेस्ड डेवलपमेंट. वो क्या होता है हम बाद में बात करेंगे. इट रेंडर्स यूआई विद डायनेमिक डेटा. यूज़र इनपुट करना है, कम्युनिकेशन बैकएंड के साथ करना है, मोबाइल लाइक आपको यूज़र एक्सपीरियंस करानी है, वो सारा रिएक्ट करवाएगा. एंड इट्स अ मच बेटर वे टू डेवलप द फ्रंट एंड. ठीक हो गया. तो अगर आपको फ्रंट एंड करना है तो बियर मिनिमम जो आपको चाहिए दैट इज़ रिएक्ट, अगर आपको फ्रंट एंड डेवलप करना है. ओके. There's sometimes also
Yes.
uses what's called the Angular. We not all the time use the React. We also sometimes use the other technology called, for example, Angular. We have what? That's called that's called the mean stack. Then that's called the mean stack, not the Mern stack. तो मर्न में आर हटा के ए लगाना है, मीन स्टैक हो गया. या दूसरा एक और स्टैक होता है मेवन स्टैक एंड ऑल. फिलहाल हम मर्न की बात करेंगे तो हमारे पास रिएक्ट है. तो रिएक्ट कहाँ पे लगता है जल्दी बताओ मुझे. Front end. What is the React? It is a JavaScript library. Yeah, it's a library actually. What is Node?
Node C plus में और वो
It's a server side runtime, huh? So that your JavaScript can run on the server side. So it will help. It's an alternative to PHP, Ruby on Rails, Java, etc. तब आपको जावा वगैरह करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. आप जावास्क्रिप्ट ही इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो ऑन द सर्वर साइड, राइट. व्हाट इज एक्सप्रेस? हाँ जी, वेयर वी यूज द एक्सप्रेस?
Node.js का फ्रेमवर्क है सर.
Exactly. Okay. This may not be, you may not understand it properly right now unless we start doing it. But you need to have a big picture in the mind that what we're gonna do today. Then what is
Yes.
MongoDB?
So ये database related
It
है.
is SQL based or no SQL?
No SQL.
It is
No SQL.
It is no SQL. It's a JSON based, right? And important thing is कि MongoDB is again a JavaScript kind of thing. So if it's a JavaScript guy, it can connect with your server side, यानी कि Node.js. It won't connect with your once again. It won't connect with the MongoDB won't connect with the React, because React is on a front end. Okay, Express is on the server side and MongoDB is on the database side, right? अगर हम खाली फ्रेमवर्क्स की बात हम करेंगे, जो फ्रंट एंड है आपका उसमें रिएक्ट है, जो आपका बैक एंड है वो नोड जेएस और एक्सप्रेस वहाँ पे है ना। और मोंगोडीबी कहाँ है बैक में, मोंगोडीबी
Back end
कनेक्ट्स
में.
विद द एक्सप्रेस नॉट विद द रिएक्ट, देन एक्सप्रेस कनेक्ट्स विद द रिएक्ट टू द फ्रंट एंड, ठीक है, ये आपको दिमाग में रखना है. So it's a powerful database which can easily be integrated into the Node Express environment. Here in the Node Express environment यहाँ पे है ना सर्वर साइड में, ठीक है, गेटिंग.
Yes, sir.
सो जो आपका फ्रंट साइड है, फ्रंट एंड है, वहाँ पे आपका कौन बैठा है एज अ
HTML, CSS.
अब HTML
React.
CSS को गोली मारो. अब आप मुझे बताओ मर्न की
अच्छा,
टेक्नोलॉजी में
React.
React.
रिएक्ट बैठा हो, ये फ्रंट एंड हो गया, ठीक है. अच्छा सर्वर साइड में कौन बैठा है,
Express.
उसमें पहले ही नोड जेएस है ना,
Yes, sir.
एंड एक्सप्रेस. और बैकएंड में कौन बैठा है, ऐसे ना डेटाबेस में कौन बैठा है,
MongoDB.
मोंगोडीबी, ठीक है. अब मोंगोडीबी किसके साथ बात करेगा, एक्सप्रेस के साथ.
Express के
एक्सप्रेस
साथ.
किसके साथ बात करेगा, रिएक्ट के
React.
साथ.
React के साथ.
बन गई पिक्चर क्लियर. सो जो मैं बिग
Yes, sir.
पिक्चर की बात कर रहा था, आई थिंक दैट इज क्लियर नाउ. So as you could see here, this is the big picture which we have got so far. That we have the React in the front end, the web browser and all. And the server side, we got the Node.js and Express.js. And the database side, we got the MongoDB. Is the technology is clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
MongoDB stores the JSON data natively
Data.
because it is no SQL. And Node.js, again, it is the JavaScript runtime environment which we created in using the which rendering engine? The Chrome's V8.
V8.
And in C++, we created that environment. And Express, where is Express used? Server side.
Back.
है ना?
Server side.
And React,
Back.
Front end side.
front end side. So why choose Mern Stack? Because JavaScript is everywhere. So that is why we use the Mern, because JavaScript is the boss language, and it's being used in front end by anybody who has to use Python or PHP or anything. He has to learn the JavaScript. Then we say, bro, you are learned the JavaScript in the front end. Why not to use it in the back end also and everywhere? And now we are gone to the database side also to use the Mern Stack. Getting or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is this picture clear? Tell me about any doubts in this picture. I'm just telling the understanding the technology, the big picture today. No, we have to go, and it's kind of a big course where we learn everything inside out. But is this picture clear?
Yes, sir.
Again, the front end React, back end is the Express.js and Node.js, and database side MongoDB. So अब ये भूलना नहीं है ना, अब ये भूलोगे नहीं आप कभी मेरे ख्याल से.
Inshallah.
Okay. So career path in Mern Stack development is you can be a front end developer. So you have to have the expertise in the React. If you have a backend, then you have to understand properly the Node.js and Express, right?
Yes.
And if you are full stack, then you have to go for the Mern Stack.
Mern.
And there will be DevOps and all. And then you can go for the freelancing and you can do the tons of jobs. Anyways, do you have any questions? So it's a Mern Stack is a very powerful framework. You have to understand that. And it has a diverse opportunities because you can land any job. You can land in the front end, the server side, the database side. But it needs continuous learning and practice, which is the key. You have to continuously learn and you have to practice every day the coding with me. It's not like that I will teach and you will not do nothing. We have to do it together, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts or questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
सर Node.js और Express में और differentiate कीजिए.
किसमें?
Node.js और Express.
Wait a second. Let's go back up a bit. 1 second. Here is the Node.js Express, okay? So what we said on a server side, this is the backend, which is called a server side, and this is the stack, by the way. Huh? This is our full stack, and this is the stack where we have stack. बोलते हैं ना, you know stack
Yes, sir.
in a programmer. So we have the three on the stack. On the top is the front end. So in front end, you created a website, and that website now has to interact with the database. If it is a database website, for example, it's an Amazon. Now Amazon, you are asking something on the browser. This browser is not doing any processing, rather it hands over to the server. In server, you have a JavaScript running on the node, okay? Because we have the Node.js, where I told you Node.js is what? It's an environment. It's an environment where we can render the JS. And Node.js, जो मैंने बताया आपको, Node.js is actually a V8 rendering engine running on a C++ environment that is called as Node.js. Now, Node.js is nothing but which can help us render JavaScript code, which we have written the JavaScript code on a server side, which can run the logic of whatever is asking. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि वो फिल्टरिंग का जो बताया मैंने एग्जाम्पल, मेरे को नाइकी चाहिए, मेरे को डिस्काउंट चाहिए, वो ये सारा पिलाता है किसको? ये फ्रंट एंड जो है ये सारा किसको देता है? ये सर्वर को है ना। सर्वर में तो ये लॉजिक चलाना पड़ेगा ना कि वो भैया मेरे को ये चीज़ें चाहिए, उसके लिए कोई प्रोग्राम लिखना है ना वहाँ पे। वो किस में लिखोगे आप? जावास्क्रिप्ट में लिखोगे।
जावास्क्रिप्ट।
चूंकि आपके पास नोड जेएस है इसलिए आप जावास्क्रिप्ट कर रहे हो वहाँ पे, ठीक है ना, बिकॉज ऑफ नोड जेएस। बिकॉज आपको नोड जेएस में जावास्क्रिप्ट रेंडर होगा तो आपने जावास्क्रिप्ट में वो प्रोग्राम लिखा, ठीक है।
इट मीन सर जिस तरह हमारे पास वो टर्बो C++ होता है, C++ प्रोग्राम को चलाने के लिए, उस तरीके से नोड जेएस हमें चाहिए एक्सप्रेस को चलाने के लिए,
जेएस को पहले चलाने के लिए, फर्स्टली जेएस को चलाने के लिए, हाँ एक्सप्रेस को भी, लेकिन फिलहाल हम कहेंगे जेएस को चलाने के लिए। फिर हमने कहा कि अब जावास्क्रिप्ट जो है ना, मेरे को कुछ रेडीमेड ऑफ शेल्फ चाहिए ना। जैसे कि यहाँ पे मैंने कहा था मेरे को CSS लिखना है बहुत सारा। अगर मुझे साइट, अगर जैसे मुझे जैसे ये पेज है, मुझको ये करना है क्रिएट खुद ही, तो मेरे को बहुत सारा CSS लिखना पड़ेगा ना। ऐसे थोड़ी HTML में होगा। जो जैसे ना ये पेज अभी आपको दिख रहा है, जो इसकी फॉर्मेटिंग है, यहाँ से पिक्चर है, यहाँ से कलर है, ये थोड़ी ना करेगी, ये तो CSS में होगा ना ये चीज़ें। लेकिन जब मैं खुद लिखूंगा तो मुझे बहुत टाइम लगेगा। अब ये वाला काम लिखा हुआ है बूटस्ट्रैप की एक फाइल में फॉर एग्जांपल। अब मैं क्या करता हूँ, मैं कहता हूँ मैं खुद तो नहीं लिखूंगा, मैं उस बूटस्ट्रैप की फाइल को कॉल करूंगा और मुझे ये सारा करके देगी, ठीक है। जैसे ये एरोज है, यहाँ से ये है, यहाँ से कलर आ गया, वो बूटस्ट्रैप की फाइल खुद करके देगी। इसी तरीके से मैं कहता हूँ कि मेरे को कोई फ्रेमवर्क यहाँ पे चाहिए जो मुझे यहाँ सर्वर साइड स्क्रिप्टिंग करके देगा आसानी के साथ। एंड इन दैट केस वी हैव व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज एन एक्सप्रेस JS। गॉट इट। इसी तरीके से मैं चाहता हूं कि भैया जो मुझे जावास्क्रिप्ट यहाँ पे रन कराना है ना फ्रंट एंड साइड, मेरे को कोई लाइब्रेरी दे दो, रेडीमेड फाइल दे दो जिसको मैं उठा के अपने इस्तेमाल कर सूंगा। दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज रिएक्ट। सो ये बूटस्ट्रैप, जैसे बूटस्ट्रैप है क्या? बूटस्ट्रैप है क्या? वो CSS की फाइल्स बनी बनाई है, ठीक है। आपको उठाना है और इस्तेमाल करना है आपको। अब बूटस्ट्रैप में आप सीखोगे क्या? हाउ टू कॉल दैट वट एवर यू नीड, आपको वो चीज़ें सीखनी है बाकी। लेकिन CSS आपको आना चाहिए अच्छे से, क्योंकि अगर आपको CSS ही नहीं आता, आपको सिर्फ कॉलिंग आती है, तो फिर आप डेवलपर नहीं हो, ठीक है। यू हैव टू यूज़, जैसे एक डॉक्टर है वो सर्जरी के लिए रोबोट इस्तेमाल करेगा, लेकिन अगर उसको सर्जरी पता ही नहीं होगा तो रोबोट तो करेगा सर्जरी, बट ही हैज़ टू गो टू द मेडिकल कॉलेज एंड लर्न द हाउ टू डू सर्जरी एंड ऑल। You have to learn everything, right? Then he will use better way the framework. You getting the point?
Yes, sir.
So what are we going to learn then? What are we going to learn? I mean, ये करना है. What are we going to do now? By tomorrow, what are we going to do? We will create an environment in the VS Code. We can use the VS Code and all. Then we start, because this is the ground up course. This is the HTML5. We'll first learn inside out the HTML5, everything what is on the planet, I would say. Then I will say CSS3. We'll learn what is CSS3. Then we go on and learn the JavaScript as a language, proper language, full blown features, all object oriented concepts and everything. Then when we're done with the JavaScript, we will learn the React. When we have learned the React this much, then we will be called as a front-end developer. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Got it? When we are done with that front-end, then we jump into the backend. In backend, what we do is we will learn the Node.js. Okay? And when we learn the Node.js, then we start learning the Express. When we learn the Express and Node.js, then you are the backend developer. And then you will learn the MongoDB and how to connect with the Express and all. Then we build some application which will have all the three. Then you can call yourself as a full stack developer. But mind you one thing, it needs a continuous practice and learning. It's not it's an easy, it's not something which, which you can't do. It can be done by anybody, even who is a 12th class student, but it needs a constant practice and understanding. Okay,
Yes, sir.
I think that's all for today. It's time to say ma salama. Any questions you can ask? Yeah.
सर इसमें फर्स्ट ये एपीआई का भी कंसेप्ट आएगा
We
How-
have
मतलब हम
we can pull the APIs and all, and later on we will have the mobile technologies also. If you want to develop the mobile apps, okay, then we have what's called the native JS. We have what? Then there's another technology we need to use, that's called native JS. It depends upon you. If you want to learn that also, we can do that also. Teachers, I think I'm tired
sir.
now.
ओके सर थैंक यू सर
Yes, any questions? ऐसे थोकुस भी हैं.
सर इंशाल्लाह टुमारो
Okay then. Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Inshallah.
अल्लाह
By tomorrow, get
Hafiz.
your laptops ready. Maybe we do some environment setting and all.